It's me, Shadow, and I just want to make a quick video about my thoughts after watching Kamen Rider Zetz episode 12. And I have to say, there's a lot to talk about today. Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, let's get out of the way. Uh, After watching episode 12, it's kind of low key confirmed that what I feared came true. Semi feared, anyway. Feared. Uh, Code is real, but that that exists in the real world, and that it's not completely made up. Which I have a feeling now. I have a feeling that code is essentially going to be, which is code is essentially a organization of the government, right? Code is or at least that's what it seems like, and that they're going and these code guys are the bad guys, right? Man, I was really hoping that wouldn't be the case, right? I was really hoping it wouldn't be the case, but it totally is. Turned out, turned out what I wanted, what I didn't want to happen, happened, and it turns out that the bad guys are in fact code. Uh, Now that makes it kind of interesting because that reveal was kind of interesting because at first the protagonist code was fake, like it wasn't real, it was just like a dream thing, and it you know, and then Nox revealing to the protagonist that no, it's real, code is real, and they exist in the actual physical real world, and that really threw me for a loop, right? So I have this new theory, and it's odd, but I think it's probably accurate. I honestly think it's accurate based on what I've seen, right? And I think Zetz is going to have a similar fate to Kamen Rider Ichigo, and I think Kamen Rider Nango. I think that's what it is, right? One Kamen Rider 1 and 2. For those who don't know, who don't watch who've never watched the Shoga, the early Rider, eventually Kamen Rider 1 and 2. I think it's called the Shoga era, I think, or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but like basically during the olden days, the first two Kamen Riders were invented by were brought into the world by Shocker. For those who don't know, Shocker is an interdimensional empire of Villains. I'm not sure if Shocker is. I don't think they're restricted only to Kamen Rider. I think they're technically also uh, villains in the Super Sentai world, aka Power Rangers. I don't know if they ever appeared in the Power Ranger universe, but I think they have in Super Sentai. I At least I think they have. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't watch Super Sentai. Right? But anyway, for those who no, anyway, getting back on topic, Super Sentai, I mean not Super Sentai, Kamen Rider 1 and 2 were, I guess, humans who were experimented on, and then got their powers through Shocker, through treatment experimentation. Realized they got powers, and then they turned on Shocker and decided to be good guys. Now, man, all right. So I think that Zest is probably gonna have something similar. Code was a secret organization funded by the government, right? Right. Uh, they created, right, a dream warrior. Secretly created a dream warrior through Baku, aka Zetz, right? They also created the nightmares, right? Right? And I think they manipulated both the nightmare, and then the code manipulated nightmares and Zets to fight each other as a way to gather data and run experiments to harness the power. I don't know what nightmares are, but I think there's some type of like special there's like some type of people with special abilities, and Code is running experiments to like master it, like to master the power, power, and they do this by having them fight each other, fight each other. So on the good side, they create their biological weapon Zetz, who is, who's programmed to like test out their power against nightmares. Again, there are maybe there's sometimes there's supernatural existence. Um, I don't know how to put when I'm thinking the words, but how I think the story is going to unfold now is just what it's going to unfold is probably what I think is going to. Well, this is what I think how the story might unfold. Okay, new theory. This is a whole new theory. Okay, so uh, Code is evil, and they discover the power of nightmares early, but they haven't mastered it. They discovered how they can like they discover that they can like use that power through Zets, right? But they don't know to what extent that they can, right? So they use Zets to create the nightmares, put them infest different people, and then use that to experiment, experiment. So they keep doing that, right? And Zets, I'm sure it gets at some point. It's probably gonna screw it. I don't care if I get manipulated. I want to protect people, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm going to do it with Zets, right? Right. That's how it thinks it's gonna unfold. Uh, and I think that while doing that, Nox is gonna be won over by Zets. Right. Zets is gonna win over Nox, and then Nox becomes the secondary writer that supports Zets. Right. And then they're gonna fight Code. Now, on the bright side, because Code is the villain, there's a chance that Zero might be the final boss at the end. Oh man, that part is what I'm actually kind of happy about because I actually was. I don't know if you watched my other videos, but my videos I did suggest that Zero may be the final villain at the end, and I actually think that may be the case, right? That might be the case. I haven't thought of like 100% theory, but I'll share what I think was going to happen. Okay, so first, Zero is the final boss at the end, right? And Zero's been manipulating Code, right? Right. So I think what Zero really is some type of like scientist, and he discovered nightmares. He discovered the power. He created the capsids, so crabs and Zets create Zets to fight the nightmares, and then also create the nightmares too, or at least discovered them, and then fit them against each other to fight them against each other to collect data and create missions and all this other stuff all in a sense to gather data to see what he can do. Like how far could he push the power of the nightmares and Zets and see and then at the end of I think at the end of the show when Zero has all the data and has all the all the knowledge and he knows how far these powers can take him and he's going to turn on then he's going to turn on Zets on Zets, right? And then Zets is gonna, Zets after recruiting both his sister, the cops, Knox, and maybe the people he saved come they all like team up together, and they all and create a band of like misfits that tricks on both Zero and Code, right? That's what I'm hoping for, story wise. Story wise. Now we're gonna go back and talk about some of the smaller stuff. Okay, now first of all, I want to say that Nox's henshin, amazing, right? I liked it. I liked it, and I think there's got to be some type of hidden meaning behind why his capstone is called Erase. Uh, Actually, I think honestly, honestly, I think that Zetz may be a villain, right? I'm not. We're not a villain like in a sense like in a sense like he's gonna you're gonna But I think what Zetz is now. Now I'm always positive what Zetz is some type of experiment created by code, right? And what I so here's the thing. This is what I think happened. Okay, right? Uh, I think Baku went out to save someone, right? From harm, and one of the accidents that's what I'm claiming. Like, what, right? One of the accidents that he went through was a actually an event caused by code, right? And so when when the accident occurred, right? Code secretly kidnapped him, experimented him, and then put him back. Because basically, you're asking how did it kidnap him? I think it's what happens when they take him to the hospital. Code actually stepped in, replaced the medical team, took him to some hidden lab, experimented on him, right? To give him the power so that he could use the zetz driver or whatever, right? Given his zetz powers, and then then they after doing that knocked him out, gave him did some type of procedure or something, give him zet powers or whatever, and then put him back and then sent him back right into the. Then they sent him into the hospital where he had many of his uh, accidents, many of his like accidents. Now I've started, but accidents. And now the reason why I'm saying accidents because I actually think that these accidents, when he helps people and the thing that strike the meteor strike him down, he gets hit by lightning. I think all those or again accidents set up by code to train him, right? In some way, like I don't know, maybe like take damage or like train him how to take damage, or something like that, right? So that and because of that, I think that Zetz may have very dark indications. Like there's something dark and evil behind Zetz, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Zetz is inherent, or maybe he is. Maybe, may, uh, Zetz is like inherently evil, right? I'm not saying Baku is evil. I'm saying Zetz, the power that he uses, right, is evil, at least to a certain extent, because and the reason why I think that is because uh, I think halfway through the episode, Nox destroys a capsule, and what comes out of it is like it seems like to me a proto nightmare, right? Like a prototype nightmare, and the nightmare looks exactly uh, uh, like Zetsu's barrier form. Now he doesn't, but like he's amateur, but that shadow seems to, but that nightmare seems to be incredibly weak, or at least not very intelligent and a berserker. So what I think, I'm starting to think, is that maybe Baku was human, right? And then he saved someone, got into an accident, like a real accident or accident, either one, and then right, and then Ko decided to give him his Zetsu uh, and then and then monitor him, right? Monitor him, and the scientist that was put in charge of Baku and monitor him was of course Zero. That's why he doesn't show his face, right? 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 So it makes me think that maybe Zetz is actually like some type of human nightmare hybrid, right? That's what I think. That's what I currently think. That Zetz is like through code experiment is a human nightmare hybrid, right? Now that right. So I really think that, and right. So I really think that. So I think that's how. So and as for the punishments, I actually think there's two scenarios now, right? And as to why he gets punishments, I and one, I think that the punishments are real. The first scenario is the punishments are he sees for helping people are real. It, I like. I have a feeling that his nightmare half, right? Whenever he saves like whenever he saves someone, whenever he helps or saves someone, his nightmare half is using his nightmare powers to attack his human half, and that's what's causing those accidents. Right, every time he tries to help someone, is that his nightmare his nightmare part of him is fighting his human part, and because you know how nightmares have like supernatural powers, they can bring mirrors down, and yeah, I know it's because they're also in dreams, but I think that maybe some of those abilities are genetic, like in terms of nightmares can use them, right? So I have a feeling that those accidents are actually the nightmare part attacking his human part, right? Right, 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 and that's like that's what I logically I think what it is that whenever he does something good, and the the rampaging nightmare in him that's part him now because of the experiments is like just finds that behavior disapproving, and so he like punishes him using like a small portion of nightmare power. That's what I think it is. The second option, which I think is also probably possible but highly unlikely, is that these accidents are actually uh, code incidents that Code has done to, in a sense, toughen up Baku, so that when he inherits, when he awakens his Zetsu power, uh, he is, I guess, toughened, like hardened, battle hardened already. So like, you get hit by cars, lightning, that kind of thing. It's like yes, he's injured, but at the same time, it hardens and strengthens his body. So when he fights the shit, when he fights the nightmares, he doesn't get his ass kicked completely. Pardon my language, right? Right. Let's see what else. Oh, and finally, what took me by surprise in episode 12. Both things that I want happened at the exact same episode. The cop finding out that the guy was evil. That oh not no no not evil, but like he's like I guess right now a villain, right? But villain and his sister fighting the base. Both things happened. The both things I wished happened happened at the exact same episode. Now this was really interesting. I was like, right, right, and so it's like, oh, you probably Doctor Sister, like you probably want a good explanation for what's happening, right? And it's just like, yeah, you bet, damn right, I wanted a good explanation, right? So that was also kind of interesting. I wonder. I can't wait for the next episode, or maybe the next two episodes, where Zero has to explain like about stats and all the other stuff. Now, part of me is hoping that Zero stays good. Like Zero is a rogue agent of Code, where he wants the data of Code, but he doesn't agree with Code's like he agrees with Code's mission in terms of the nightmares have to be contained, and but doesn't agree with using Baku, but doesn't agree to Baku. That part of me is hoping for that, but honestly, no. I'm pretty sure Zero is going to be the final bad guy at the end, and he's secretly the one who's manipulating both Code and the Nightmares, Bears, Bears, and he's going to be the final bad guy at the end, right? And Nox, at first I thought was a villain, but after watching episode 12, I'm starting to think that he's not a villain. I don't think he's a bad guy. I actually think that I think that Nox may in fact be a misunderstood good guy, right? It's a good guy, and I think the reason, and I think the reason why he's uh uh interfering with Baku is it's not because he's a villain. I think it's because he knows Code is bad, and he's trying to, I guess, convince Baku to stop, right? He's like, hey, stop. Think about, just don't just don't just believe whatever Code tells you, right? 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 They're bad people. You don't want to these missions. If Code is making you solve these missions, there's got to be some type of dark. There's going to be a dark, evil undertone, uh, tone with them, right? Right? And when right, and when Nox says, "I want revenge," right? I at first I thought when I first heard that in the preview, I thought I was assuming revenge against humanity, but no, I don't think it's revenge against humanity. After watching episode 12, I think Nox wants revenge against Code. Is against Code the organization, not Zetsu. And I have a feeling I know why. I think Nox is the proto Zetz. That's my theory. I'm saying it. I'm saying it now. Nox is proto Zetz. I think the nightmares that he was having every day was orchestrated by Zetz. Not by Zetz, by Code, right? And Code wanted Nox to be like, because Nox's righteous heart, or at least according to the cop, right? I think the cop. So I think that they wanted righteous heart. Code wanted to use Nox, and make him uh, the original Zetsu, proto Zetsu, right? But I think Nox caught on but I think the reason why but I think they, but I think they caught, but I think Nox caught on. I think during somewhere in the process, Nox discovered uh, or realized Code's true objective, true like purpose, true face, and went, nah, no, 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 no. You say you're good, but no, 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 no. I caught you. You're evil, right? And I think Nox caught on, was intelligently smart, was intelligently smart and caught on, right? So they had to abandon him. Uh, so they abandoned him and found a new target, aka Baku, right? And the reason why uh, Nox can like summon nightmares and all that stuff, I think that's an ability he obtained while Code experimented on him. Because eventually, like I said, Cole probably wants battle data, right? So they use so I think that they originally tried to trick Nox into getting the power of Zetsu, right? But Nox, being highly intelligent, realized, wait, hold on, something about this is suspicious. You guys are effing shady, right? It's like, no, 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 screw this. I'm not taking the belt. And unlike Baku took the belt, but maybe Nox was smart enough to say, no, 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 I'm not taking that belt. No, 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 no. I'm not taking the belt. And then bounced, right? And then right? So, and then he bounced. So basically, I think Cole gave him nightmare powers, nightmare powers, and then about to give him zetz powers too. About to give him zetz powers, kind of like make him like a proto zetz, make him proto zetz. But then what happened was is that right before he got the driver, I think Nox caught on to what Code was trying to do. Whatever evil plan Code was trying to do, Nox discovered it. Or realized it, said no, like no, and then bounced and left. I don't know. He used his nightmare powers or whatever and just left and left. Code was like, "Oh shit, the Nox is too smart. He's not gonna. It's not gonna work. We're gonna have to find someone else, right? Right. Find someone else. And the person they found, right, right. So then, and then Baku, and then so that we're gonna find someone. So they searched. Baku was helping someone. Baku got into an accident. He was badly injured. Code's like, "Oh, we'll use this guy. We'll use Baku, right?" So they took him, experimented him, and then sent him back to the hospital. So what they do is that they saw him. They got agents to go in. They replaced the hospital staff or something like that. They kidnapped him. They knocked him out, kidnapped him, experimented him, and then sent him back to the hospital or wherever it is they took him from. Sent him back there as if nothing happened, and then let him live out his life. And then when he wakes up, when Bach wakes up with the power of Zet sleeping inside him, whenever he helps someone, and then the nightmare inside. Now, just to be clear, what I think happened, or what they did to him, is I think they took nightmare genes and inserted into him, making him half nightmare, turning Baku from human to half human, half nightmare. Right, so I'm explaining my theory, right? So what I think what happens, the accidents. So what the accidents, like I said before, whenever he helps someone, is his nightmare. His nightmare side is attacking his human side, right? Right. That's one. Or second one, that's the first scenario. The second scenario is that Code uses whenever he helps somebody, whenever he helps them, Code does some type of like uses that experiment, that like buffer time when he saves someone, to run experiments on him. So hit him with a truck, hit him with lightning, and these are tests to see if what he can handle. Like, can he handle getting shot by lightning? Can he handle getting hit by a truck? Can he handle getting hit by a meteorite? Or can he hit or meteorite or something getting hit by space? These are all like micro tests for Baku to go through after he inherits Zet's powers, or half nightmare genes, right? So it's probably, I'm thinking it's one of those two, right? I do. So then what happens now is that, so then after, right? So now we explain the origin, the power, everything. Then after that, right? So then continue Code. Then after thinking they're ready to go to the next phase, I guess 1 or 2 or whatever. They unleash the nightmares, trick Baku into using the driver, right? The driver stimulate the nightmare genes that are installed in him through Code, right? That's why that's why when he first transforms, you see he sees arms and legs. They grow bigger, right? During his transformation, right? They all grow bigger and stuff. Right, bigger, right, right. And as the capsules, what I think happened is what the capsules are during the time that to awaken to the he got the driver to the point where he got nightmare genes, nightmare genes, nightmare genes, uh, nightmare genes. They created photo nightmares. Now these photo nightmares are what powers, but proto nightmares. Now these are not. These are like incomplete nightmares, right? Nightmares. So they would create these artificial proto nightmares and then stick them in the capsules as power for Zets. So what I think what happens is, uh, what his power is that he's able to control proto nightmares. I and by proto I mean prototype nightmares, right? So they because they're shadow figure, they look like him, right? So what I think is maybe they extract nightmares from Zetz through the accidents, right? Right? That maybe like his body produces the type of nightmare gen, and then what it would do is that whenever he does something, once in a while, he would they would cause accidents, right? To cause that Baku to uh, be unconscious, right? Then they would send agents in, extract the genes or genes, a little bit of the genes, and then put it back to where I guess the hospital where he is originally supposed to go to, right? And then what they do is they take these genes and make photo nightmares based on those genes. So these are based on Zetsu, on Zet's body, right? And then they create photo, no, not photo, proto nightmares, and then use that to create these fake photo nightmares. That's what the nightmares look like Zetsu, right? Because they're from his genetic code. And then they place these photo nightmares in the capsums, which then Zetsu uses to fight, right? Right? And then I think by the end of the series, right? And I think at some point, uh, Zetsu, I think next episode, I think it's even hinted at the next episode, where Zetsu's like, I don't know if I should, like, now that I need, like, Zets is, I think next Baku is gonna question himself, like, hey, if these capsules are nightmares, right? Should I even be using them, right? Right? Maybe it's better. He starts thinking like maybe it's better if I just leave it to Nox, right? Maybe, now that they know Nox is not a bad guy, right? Now that Baku after 12 know that Baku is not not Baku, Nox is necessarily a villain. Uh, he might be start thinking that, and I have a feeling what's going to happen is that now there's probably going to be like a time skip where Zero explains everything to his sister, and his sister just secretly supporting him now. Because I think that now that she knows about the base, he's going to secretly support him, right? Like, hey, no, like, hey, maybe his sister's going to might give him some kind of pep talk, and then he's going to recover, and he's going to come back and he's going to fight Nox. And I think he's going to, and then I think Nox and Zetz are going to have a battle of conviction. And then Nox is going to lose, and he's going to. I think during that fight, I think Baku is going to convince Nox to join his side, right? And I think he's gonna get maybe I'm hoping what Baku's gonna do is like, hey, I just want to protect dreams, right? I don't care about code. I don't care about what code's doing. I don't care what if code's using me as a biological weapon or whatever. I don't care. I just want to protect. I just want to protect dreams. I'm going to use this power to protect dreams. Like, F code, F whatever they're doing. I don't care about what they're doing. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use the capsules and the power that they give me to protect dreams. Dreams. And if it means I have to in those dreams I have to wipe out nightmares, and that's Code's objective. That's fine. I'm totally fine with that. And after beating Nox, I think Nox at some point maybe come around like, okay, you know what? I don't trust Code, but I'll trust you, Baku. Right, right. And then I think at some point Baku, Nox, Nem, and Baku's sister are going to create some type of like uh, renegade, like kind of like a renegade force. Like they create their own organization that is like what code is faking. These people are going to do for real. Like they're going to make their own organization consisting of Baku, Nox, his sister, and Nem, right? And maybe Zero, depending on if whether or not Zero is eh, depending if whether or not Zero is a pawn, and if whether Zero is the mastermind. If Zero is the mastermind that's secretly manipulating both Code and the Nightmares, then he's probably going to betray them at some point, which I think is going to be soon. If there is, or is Nox or Code like Code, or I'm sorry, is Zero a simplistic employee of Code that maybe feels bad for Baku, right? Putting him through all this, but make him do all this, and which I don't think is the case. I don't think he's a specific word of Code. I and I think he's the mastermind because based on his behavior with uh, what was it? I think episode 10 or 11, where he had to choose between the secret, this protecting the national secret or saving the victim. He chose saving. He said he chose the national secret. So it makes me believe that he's probably not. He's not a code employee that had to change a part and is secretly helping Baku. That could be possible. It could be possible, but I think Zero is part of one of those two. Either he is someone who works for Code, and at some point he starts feeling sorry. He starts feeling bad for Baku, Nem, Nox, and all those other and he, I guess, guides them, uh, and guides them, and eventually betrays Code and sides with them, or he's like I think he's going to be the evil mastermind who eventually betrays, uh, uh, eventually betrays Zetsu, leading to Zetsu creating his own organization with with the cops. With the cops, Nox, his Nox, the cops, Nox, Nem, his sister, right, and and all those people. I don't know what they're gonna call it. I don't know, anti code or something. Uh, Anti code or something, but I don't know, but something like that. I really think something like that. I really hope the story unfolds the way I said it because I think that would be really interesting. But the one thing I don't understand is I can't figure out is why. Like I hope the show explains it, but why Baku is so into being a secret agent? Like that's the one thing I hope they explain it as there's a filler episode that explains it because I'm really curious as to what it is because usually because like for example Emu in Kamen Rider X-Aid wants to be a doctor because of his boss, like saved his life or something. Like when he was affected by the Bugster virus or something, he performed some operation that saved him, right? And being touched, he wanted to be a doctor, right? Gave up video game. Well, no, he gave up being a pro gamer and went to become a doctor. So I'm really curious about what they're gonna do with Seven, with Baku, in terms of like why Baku is so obsessed with being a secret agent. Right? I have no idea. I can't even make a theory. I have no idea. Um, the only thing I could probably think of is maybe he watched spy movies and um, he was he grew maybe attached to being a spy through those movies, uh, and then Code used that to take advantage of him, and Well, anyway, I think that's about it. But the thing is, I really enjoyed episode 12, and I really love how where the show is going and what they can do with it. I just hope they don't. I really hope they don't mess it up. I really do. I'm really curious if Zets, but I'm really curious if Zets really does have dark methods for creation. That because I think he does, similar to Kamen Rider 1 and 2 for the Showa. Oh, no, I remember it's called Showa region, the Showa era. I have a feeling he is, but I can't say 100% for sure. Anyway, that's it's been 40 minutes now. I've been talking about so much. I can't believe I talked this much about one episode, but I did. There's so much. There's so many undertakings that could go on for after watching episode 12. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to 13. I want to see if any of the things I said turn out to be accurate. Holy shit. Anyway, I hope you guys had a wonderful day. And see you guys next time. Bye. Have a great day.